Hello guys, super freaky start, face all the way up to the camera. Today's a very, very big turning point in this world, and I think some people are going to know what's going on here. There's bone block everywhere. We're about to do it, guys. Finally. You guys know me. If you don't know me about my ideas with bone block, I absolutely love bone block. And today is finally the day we get to use some bone block. Can I get out of this hole, please? Thank you. That's great. Okay, so today is finally the day we're starting on the new architecture of this village. We're going to start making, well, not village, the city. We're actually starting with the city on this world. And if you guys aren't too familiar, if you guys have maybe missed an episode, maybe you don't know what's going on. Maybe I've just not been very good at telling you what's happening. So we're in the jungle over here. This is a brand new area we're starting in this world. This is the other kingdom. So we've got our, first of all, our kingdom on that side, the Nordic kingdom, I guess. It's kind of, as I say, representative of the Stormcloaks in Skyrim. And this one over here is going to be sort of like the Imperials in Skyrim. That's what we're going for. And today's important. It's a very important episode. And I've been struggling a little bit because I've been thinking about how do I make this building? Because this building's going to set the tone for how we're going to be building the rest of the stuff in here. Maybe we'll get some cool ideas while doing it. And so far what I've come up with is, I've been struggling just thinking of ideas, really. That's been the problem. I've been trying to say, how do I make this build that we're doing today unique and identifiable? And say, for instance, you're walking through this world without knowing how we thought when we built this world, you would be like, this is quite clearly built differently to the other area. You'd very much identify that this area here was built by someone else. And that's what I've been trying to get. And I think I may have it. And I've done something which I haven't done in a very long time. And I kind of don't know why now. I feel like I really probably should do this a bit more often. Because I kind of probably block myself out from a lot of good ideas. And that is building stuff in creative, which I haven't done in a while. And it was pretty much just because I was trying to think. I couldn't clear up what I wanted to do in here. And now I think we finally have it. So today what we are doing, and this is pretty much because I wanted to, as I say, get this style started. And, of course, we can't really just build a giant palace, but I've got some really cool ideas for the palace. Let me tell you this. I've been thinking about cool ideas to come up with for this build, and I've been playing around with some ideas, because you know what happens when you just start building random things. You start seeing other things, and you're like, well, that looks really cool as well. I'm going to use that for something. I'm going to use that for something. So we've got a lot of cool stuff. Let me tell you this. I've been busy in this world. I've been busy in a creative world, coming up with ideas, and it feels really good to see things work. So what I've got planned here, let me show you. Let me try and explain before we get into the good looking stuff in this. Man, I've been having a bit of a struggle with my elytra to keep it going. So let's go up here, and bam. All right. So this area here, let's go out this way. Let's start a little bit back, and we'll talk about the story of this land. So we've got both of these civilizations, and they both obviously have a certain amount of stuff to do in the ocean, and that means that, of course, they would need a dock. Let me just go up a bit more. Over here. Perfect. All right, so right there is where we built the house. We're coming from the other city, which is over there. So that is the southwest, sorry. Coming out this way, you can see we come around here. We've got an area which I'm thinking of clearing out and making a giant entrance to a big bay over here, because we've got this inland dam, which I was talking about actually 2 episodes ago. Well, not dam, but more just a big lake. And I would like to make this into a giant bay where ships come and dock. And today what I was thinking of doing was doing something similar to sort of like a fort. I don't know if it is actually a fort, but something where, for instance, boats coming in here, we'd have this little part here, which has got bunch of people just ready to defend the city. Just a little spot, of course. And what we're going to do, I don't even know how far we'll get with this today, because I want to make it significantly large, like what we did, well, not stupidly large, but larger than a lot of other builds. Kind of like what we did with the ship, where we made a lot of stuff so we could put a lot of stuff in it, because that was cool. I like that. I like that it came out, the ship specifically, of course. The ship is definitely one that was liked by many people. It had a bit of extra stuff, you know, it's a bit more interesting than just your average house or your average build in general. So what I've come up with here, because I want to start using some stuff, and what I've been thinking about was, how do I make this area over here that we're about to be doing, this whole city here, its own? How do we make it that as I say, you see it's identifiable as its own, and what would be a good thing to do? And I think contrasting the two build styles, the build style that we're going for in that place over there, which when I refer to that place, I mean like what we've been doing up till now. We've been doing a very basic looking wooden, I guess, mostly wood structures. We'll probably still have to do a lot of work before we get to the main city there, but that sort of stuff is important to think about, and why we are doing it, and how we are going to be building this over here to make sure it doesn't look anything like that. And I think the cool thing will be contrasting the sorts of colors we use, and that's why bone blocks are going to be our best friend, because of course we've got some not significantly darker, but darker colors on that side. The spruce, the grey stones from a lot of stuff. I guess yeah, they are significantly darker. But that's my plan. I want to start doing stuff that's a little bit more interesting in terms of color variation, a bit lighter. I want to start adding in a few different things, kind of like what my previous village was. If you guys don't know about the previous village in the previous world, I did a lot of different sorts of contrasting colors on the build. But for this, when I was referring to contrast, I'm just talking about contrast in general between the two areas. So let's have a look at what's coming on here. This is just out of what I've done in a creative world right now. Let's see if it's working as good as it did. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I've even done something which I would probably consider myself as a building crime. I've done things in 2 wide areas, which is crazy. I never do even numbers, but I thought, you know what, let's try it. Let's do something a little bit weird. I was getting stuck, and I think now that might be a good idea. So what I want to do here is I want to just put in this little piece here. This is to make it interesting, pretty much. Just put in this bottom piece. And I'm trying to make a little bit of an area for people to stand on. So if you were walking out here, you could look out, see the boats coming in. I also want a big tower over here so that you can even see further. And the other thing with this over here, of course, is trying to just create a bit of depth with it, because obviously depth is amazing. So 1, 2, 3 blocks out, I think that's going to work very, very well. It gives us a lot of opportunity to start adding smaller blocks in the middle here. For instance, if we had like a fence over there, they'll look really, really good. So the next thing which I was thinking of doing was, of course, adding in the contrasting color. But this is where the even number comes in. If you guys don't understand why I don't think even numbers work good for building, and you will know now. Let me show you. Imagine for some reason, I've already planned this out a little bit, so I know I don't want to put a window here, but just picture this. I wanted to put a window in this place, and we only had 2 blocks. That would not work, because we'd have a window against one side or the other side. So it really just doesn't work well at all. But that could that'll look really, really good just as a wall. Now, this, of course, is a bit boring. So what I'm going to do, well, like this wall is looking very boring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do a bit more of this, a bit more like practice on this wall, just to make sure we are going into a style which I really like. I've got some really cool roofs for when we get into the palace in this place. Let me tell you that. I've been playing around with some ideas for roofs, and there's some cool stuff coming up. So what I want to do now is I just want to go and touch up this wall, make sure it's something we can replicate and carry on and be happy with, and I'll be right back. I've done a bit of stuff on this thing, guys, and I want to show you exactly how it's looking right now. I'm really, really glad that we're getting back into the building of buildings. It's been a while. Like, think about it. It's been a very long time since I actually built a building, and I've been itching to do one, so I'm very, very happy that we've got this. Look at this. It's kind of weird. I know maybe it doesn't look too good right now, or maybe it looks a little bit confusing. I'll zoom in like that. So what I've decided to go with is I want this area to look very much like they've got a lot of wealth. That's why we're using the white bone block. It looks a lot more, I don't know, ornate, I guess, and also just in general, I want it to look also very structured, unlike the other area that we're going to be doing. But for this one, basically what I'm going with here is I'm wanting to go and try out a few different blocks. The acacia, I know acacia logs work well, and I want to try them out in this. And I'm not too sure if they do work very well in this. And the reason why is because of these matching the lines, you know what I mean? It might not work, but we'll try it out. In fact, what I might do is I might change the oak over here over to a bit of spruce. That could work very well. But then what I've done is I've also gone and done a curve over here. I've done the stuff in the front here. Let me show you this. Let me show you this stuff here. By the way, if you guys are wondering why has Jansey gone down to 49 levels, he's trying so hard to get 100 levels. I enchanted 9 shovels, and yeah, you guys will find out why I've got nine shovels in the future. One day you'll find out, but we'll get to 100 eventually. If I get to it at some point. And by the way, these I'm pretty sure they're called crenellations. I decided to knock a few out, so put a slab instead of a stair. And that's going to work really, really well, I think, just to make it look like it's falling apart a little bit. And these pieces here are falling apart as well. We'll get a bit more stuff into here. It's a matter of time. One little thing that I think will be really cool, by the way. Do I have any... We can quickly do this. We can sort this out. I was going to say Junglewood. I did this quite a while ago. And that was in the beginning of the series. I think was on our... near our fishing hut that we did. Actually, I'll just take one. One will be enough. And drop down here. Stop. And here we go. So one cool thing we could do, and I love doing this, is the jungle block. So Junglewood, this log, is actually the same as this oak. I mean, who knows if it's going to get changed, but it's the same as this oak right now. But it's got a bit of green in it. So it looks like it's got a little bit of water damage. Look at that. Like a little bit of water, not damage, but I guess it looks like it's soaked in a bit of water. And it's got the moss on it. I think that's going to work really, really well. So if I can hide the side of it like that, that could work really, really cool. Just to put them in the sides there every now and then. I think it will work very, very well. Also, let me just get back in here. The overall idea for this, because of course, I've got a bit of a plan for it. And I like to do things in a bit of a unplanned way as well, because it comes out to look really, really cool when you don't even know what's going to happen. But I want this part here to be an area with a platform up the top, maybe a little bit of another built like wall up the top there where you can come out into here. And then I also want a tower to look out over the edge. So there's a bit of stuff that I still want to do with this. So I don't think we're going to finish this completely in one day, because I want to add in a lot of detail. I want to add in like a lot of small things, kind of like what we did in the ship, I guess, as say. Okay, we're cutting away, and this is the explanation of why I needed 9 shovels. Because I'm clearing out a lot of dirt here. Let me tell you, I've got probably all these shulker boxes you can see on screen there were all full of dirt. I had another double chest, I think, full of dirt, and not to mention some of it that I've even lost. There was just a lot of dirt. Like, let me tell you that. This took quite a few hours, what I'm doing here. And if you guys don't know what area this is the Hobbiton area in the world. It doesn't really have any link to what we do in the world in terms of the story. This story doesn't really work here. This is purely a fun build that doesn't really have to make any sense. It's one that actually a lot of people did enjoy quite a bit as well, might I add. Just, I think, because it's a different thing. It's very bright green. Obviously, you can see where up the top there. It's a lot prettier and greener than most of the areas in this place, which is really, really cool. So what my plan is here, why I'm clearing all this out is, first of all, get rid of the mycelium so that when I do put dirt down here, the grass will just go on it and the mycelium won't. And the other thing is also, once I've cleared out all this dirt, I'm really not going to need to look for dirt as much as I do right now, because I go through a lot of it. You guys know me. Terraforming, building random things just in general, trying to shape it with dirt. I use a lot of dirt. So that is one other reason that's really, really useful, but I'm probably going to use most of it in this project. But just in general, this was a really, really cool thing to get done and get forward with. So once I've got this area here all cleared out, I'm pretty much just going to keep that dam in the middle. And we're going to start building to just below the dam right here. So the closest side to us right now, we're going to start building a few more things. We're going to obviously get the rest of the mountains in. But I want to make it look just like Hobbiton in many ways. Not completely, because of course this is our own thing. But I want to start doing a few things, like a few smaller little pieces, like a bridge. I want to do a bit of a tavern over there. I think it's the Sleeping Dragon, I'm pretty sure it's called. Just stuff like that. I think they'll be really, really cool to add in a few little bits to this world, which might not make sense to any other bit of the story, as I say, but that's not the important part. The important part is that we're having fun while doing it, and I think this is quite a fun build. So expect in the next few episodes to come back here once I've done all this. I really, really, really wanted to place a grass block and let it spread everywhere, but you'll see when I place one down there now, it doesn't really go too far, just because, of course, I kind of stopped right about here. So let's get back to the rest of the builds. There we go. So that is pretty much why we don't have shovels. I've made my shovels and I went till they broke with efficiency 4. So here we go. Let's go check this place out. By the way, guys, this is definitely not getting done completely this episode, and I'm kind of glad that that's the case, because a lot of the time I try and force out a build in a single episode, and you miss a lot of the thought that I go through when building, and I think that's important, and a lot of people don't like to miss that, and I can understand completely. So it's looking a bit more like a fort. Look at that. It's kind of fat and chunky at the bottom there. It looks really, really solid. And by the way, this part here, I'm going to take all that away, and I'll actually make the ocean floor look good eventually as well one day. But that's a huge job for not as much as much difference, basically, if I got rid of a lot of that. So we will eventually touch the ocean floor, but yeah, that's a whole other story. And I'll also show you what else I've done here. So there we go. That's the top piece, this piece here, and I've left out the side piece on this side. So I wanted to make this tower that I spoke about earlier. And in the next episode, I think that's what we're going to dedicate it to, making this cool tower. We'll do that and do a bit more other stuff because I haven't done the interior yet. So looking from here, I've done a bit of an irregular shape because that's always more interesting than doing a square. It's so easy to do a square, and it's so hard to actually pull yourself away from doing a square because, I mean, most people are comfortable doing it. And I certainly have to think about it. I was like, wait, no. Gotta get away, or a rectangle at least. I gotta stop myself from doing it. So what we've got here is we've got this little spot open here where I'm going to be putting in, let me just roughly do it, like a bit of a circular tower over here, I guess. Something like that. And that's going to pull up that way, not too much further than what this is currently. And that's just going to look cool. I mean, it's going to serve as a lookout point. And not only that, it's just going to be really, really cool to break this build up a bit because it's very flat. And I'll show you that from out there. But this is what we're looking at right here. This part over here is going to have a door in it. And the door is going to drop down over here. Double door. Because it's an even number. We'll work this out. I'll show you what I mean by drop down, by the way. Like that. So you'll be able to walk out like that. I don't think that'll look too bad. And in fact, we can even just change these over while I've still got this here. While I remember to those. Like that. Perfect. And we've got the doors on us to top it off. Let's just do that right now. There and there. Wonderful. Easy. So this is another lookout area. So you'll see there's stuff down here. You could be looking out from this side here. And, oh wait, this is the lookout area that I'm thinking I'm on. Sorry. That over there is going to be the next lookout area. Just coming out from the tower, we'll have a little doorway open there. And someone could still look out that way, which is really, really cool. So let me do... yeah, that was terrible. We're going to the bottom of the ocean. Wait for it. There we go. Okay, great. So now that I've derped up that, I'll show you what the front looks like, I guess. So up in the front here, I'm going to be clearing this out to the end here. And I want to put in a dock, like a little dock where the boats would come just to take these guys from the island back to their homes and then back here again. Pretty much just because, of course, not everyone would be here all the time. And this door goes into some dirt and stone, pretty much, because we haven't done the clearing of the stuff in there. So I'm going to clear that out. We're also going to do a bunch more stuff on it. Obviously, in the next episode, it won't all be done today because we definitely don't want to get into that. That's a whole other can of worms. There's a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be doing in here. On this side here, I want this to be the sleeping quarters for these guys. Probably pushing out into about there because there's not really too much other stuff you would want in here. You'd want your armory, you'd want your sleeping quarters, like a munition stash. If you guys have got any ideas to put in this place, let me know. Because I can always adjust things around there and see what we can fit in. And the thought will be also that in this tower, it's going to be kind of chunky. Let's just go out that way, please. Can I fly? Wonderful. Let's do this here. So going out this way, the tower's probably going to come up like that height there. Maybe a little bit taller, maybe around there. It's going to have a flat roof. And it'll have a doorway going out on top of this lookout area here as well, where we've got the opportunity to put a lot of different stuff over here. Crates, ammunition, stuff like that. Maybe even we could do ourselves a cannon on here. That could be pretty cool. That is actually not a bad idea at all. Because I haven't done a proper cannon. I think that could be really, really awesome. So pretty much for today, guys, I'll leave it at this because I've done a lot of work outside of this as well, just trying to get a style going. And I think we've definitely got a style with this, at least. And as I say, I want this to set the tone, and I think it will be. I think it's got a few aspects of it. It's not very close to what I'm actually going to be doing with the city in terms of the shaping and stuff, but this is perfect for what we got. Trust me, it's going to be really, really cool. And I also, just by the way, I had the idea, and I think this could be really cool, is of making an island prison. And I thought this would actually have been an ideal location, but I think we could do it over here somewhere, just a prison for, I don't know, the pirates that live in the area, something like that. I thought that would be really, really cool. We could probably even do a little one in here as well. And this thing's way too powerful. There we go. So that will be it for today's episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a bit of building. Let me know if you guys are enjoying being back at building stuff, because it's, well, building buildings. Let me know, because I'd love to know if you guys are enjoying these sorts of things, or if you enjoy some of the the odd builds, for instance, the flower, which was a weird build. Strange stuff like that I like to do as well. But just let me know if you guys are enjoying being back. So thank you very, very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.